I remember well, the first story I told to a group of people, I was arm in arm with kind of friends and brothers. The under 15B's team at Pietermaritzburg College. Around us was Afrikaans Hoërskool, who had traveled down by train. We were going to compete against them on Goldstones, which is a really important field. And to be honest, we were deeply, deeply afraid. Afrikaans Hoërskool had a reputation for being a formidable rugby team. And as we stood there, arm in arm, as the team captain, I began to tell a story. And it wasn't a complex story, it was simple. It was what we loved, what we believed in. It was the things that united us as college boys. And around me, the young men whose brains weren't fully formed, they weren't fully aware of their emotions. And it was like the words that I was saying became a magic that just descended on us in that little circle. All the fear that we had begun to feel started to dissipate. The world around us faded away. And as a collective, we sort of came into this joint vision of what it was that we believed in and held dear. We ran onto the field as different humans, and we were one of two sides that won that day. And that was the first time that I clearly remember the power of storytelling to unite people, to give them vision and hope and direction. The second time was as a knee-knocking preacher. I was standing in front of a group of about 500 or 1,000 people, somewhere between there. My knee was literally smashing against the other knees. My hands were shaking. I was a terrified public speaker, and at the far end of the venue, the Waldmuller Centre in Cape Town, was this big sliding door, and everything in me was screaming to run out that door. People were starting to get nervous as I was stuttering along. You know, that anxious feeling was moving through the crowd, and shakily I began to tell a story about a dog in New Zealand and a shepherd. And as I began to tell the story, that same magic that I'd experienced with those young men at Pietermaritzburg College descended on this huge group of people. And that energy, that nervous energy, began to change to focus. People's eyes lifted, locked in on me. There was a deadly silence that descended on the crowd. You could literally hear a pin drop. And it was as one, we were lifted, transported to the South Island of New Zealand, had an experience, and came back changed. And now, as someone who practices storytelling for a living, mostly for social change, I'm deeply, deeply encouraged that there is a magic on planet Earth, and it's called storytelling. I think some of the markers that we're experiencing as humankind is that for the first time in human history, young men are really battling. Suicide rates are extremely high, and although that's simplistic to look at it like that, so are anxiety and depression and a few other markers. For the first time in human history, the ideologies of men and women have divided. Women are holding on to a more liberal ideology. Men are pushing the Control-Z button and trying to go back to an ideology that served them best. And then AI obviously has got these deep existential questions of what is the point of a humankind if critical thinking and information is not our purpose, if machines and machine learning can do a lot of jobs and mediocre humans can do better. What is the point of a humankind? What is the point of education? Why do we send our kids to school if you can get better answers from ChatGPT within 5 seconds? And so all of those questions form the centrality of the work that I do day to day. And I'm so deeply encouraged that storytelling still exists. Most academics now, looking at the work that I do as an academic with a master's in culture studies and communication, I'm so deeply grateful that many academics view storytelling as one of the most powerful forces on planet Earth, if not the most powerful force on planet Earth. And so in this series of 7 videos, I'm going to share 7 stories about storytelling. The point of them, firstly, is to share that Tomfoolery is an agency with 20 years of experience as storytellers. We've learned a lot of lessons, we've made a lot of mistakes. The first point of the series will be to show you that in a lot of ways. The second point of the series will be to show you the power of storytelling, just like these 2 examples have shown you now. And the third part will be to equip storytellers with good lessons about how to tell better stories. And I hope that you'll enjoy it.
Let go and love.